From the state capitol in Hartford, I'm Jeff Zeiner on the special edition of Meet the Leaders. My guest right now is State Representative John Piscopo from Thomaston. He represents the 76th House District, a few towns in the Naugatuck Valley, and we're talking about transportation, the Mixmaster, that horrendous interchange in Waterbury. The governor talked about that in the address today, John. You live not far away from that. I'm sure you use it a lot. He called it one of the most horrendous interchanges in all of New England. It's time to revamp that. Let's start there. One of the highlights of the transportation section of the address today. What do you think?
It's going to be a huge undertaking. It really is. I remember when that went in, it was science fiction to have highways going up over the city. It was new thinking then. So it'll take quite a plan. I would have to see the plan and to really change that Mixmaster. It's going to be just a huge undertaking. But I keep an open mind with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about transportation this time. The governor said that was going to be the hallmark of this address, and it was. He said he's going to take a look at putting a committee together to raise money for transportation, and I know one of the things he said, money raised for transportation should be earmarked only to be spent on transportation. During this past session, we've heard a lot about tolls. Should we bring tolls back to raise that money? The governor didn't specifically mention tolls today. Where do you stand on that?
No, he did not see tolls, and I do remain opposed to tolls right now because I see it as another tax increase. It's just another source of revenue, just another way to whack the Connecticut motorists. So I really worry about tolls being implemented. Funding is the big question. That is the huge question that we're going to have to undertake with this kind of a plan. The Republicans, as you know, offered a alternative where it was something like a Yukon 2000 where we had a certain amount of bonding every year. We knew what we were going to be getting, and you knew how to prioritize. In regards to the new commission, I keep an open mind on that. I don't mind different minds from all over, all the stakeholders coming together and deciding on what our priorities would be. But funding is going to be a huge question. We are bonded, we are heavily bonded state. We're the most in debt state in the union. So to take on that much more debt is a real concern to me.
Now, you are one of the longest serving members in the House. 27 years. You're the third or fourth longest in office, I know, on the State House side. You have served Thomaston, Northfield, a part of Burlington very well, Harwinton. What's going on in those towns this session that the town officials want you specifically to work on?
All the town officials talk to me about protecting their funds from the state. The promises the state that they made to our municipalities. Education funding, they want to keep that up. And that's where I agree with the governor with this speech today, that the ECS formula, if we could hold it in these times, because we're facing a deficit. He didn't mention it, but we're facing a pretty good deficit in the next biennium. So if he could hold our education funding and our aid to the municipalities in check, that will be a big undertaking of this budget.
Well, you know, it's a lot to do when you're looking at a $1 billion deficit this fiscal year, another $1 billion deficit in the second year going out. How do you keep it all together?
Yes.
Not easy.
Yeah, and that's what worried me. That's why you didn't see me getting up with a lot of standing ovations today.
Now, one thing that you talked about, though, Representative, is corporate taxes. Some things happening on there that you have concerns about.
Yes. Well, we had a surcharge to get us through our last biennium. We were faced with another deficit. So we put a surcharge on corporate income tax. That was supposed to sunset, and it didn't. It's a very big concern of mine. If we did anything, is to honor the sunset, because we jumped on corporations even more than we needed to. And now the sunset's gone. It's permanently gone. And it's an increase in the corporate tax of another 20% of the corporate income tax. So not only did he not honor the sunset, but he made it permanent, where the sun will never set, and he put a increase on the tax for corporations. Really big concern, and it's a new tax in my book. And
very quickly, Representative, just about a minute left. Tell us, if you would, the governor did say he wanted to do away with the business entity tax. What is that? Is it a good thing to do away with it?
That's a tax that, yes, it's a very good thing we did away with. Another reason I agree with him in today's speech. The business entity tax, highly symbolic. It's not a lot of money, but it's just such a bad policy that we actually charge somebody for the privilege of doing business in Connecticut. Just because they are a business, we tax them. So that was not right. The Republicans have had that on their top priority for many, many years. That was our first tax we wanted to cut. And
well, today was the address. I'm sure there's a lot of wrangling to come.
A lot of reading and a lot of wrangling, a lot of understanding of what's in that budget. So okay. I will begin that right now.
Well, good, and we're going to be talking to some of your colleagues about that. John, thank you for spending a couple of minutes with us here on Meet the Leaders. I appreciate that.
Thank you for coming to Hartford. I appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you.
Our guest this time around, State Representative John Piscopo, representing Harlingen, Thomaston, Burlington, and the Northfield section of Litchfield in the 76th House District. As we continue with a special edition of Meet the Leaders from the State Capitol, I'm Jeff Zeiner.